Hello there! Welcome to BiblBabel, the show where we babble about the Bible. This also happens to be the show where the creator decides to take a month off right after posting the first video. Real great work ethic you got there, buddy. I retract my previous statement. You're doing a fantastic job. Let's get started. The million-dollar question we need to answer today, as you can probably guess, is homosexuality a sin? I'm not going to tell you what to believe. My job is to inform, not to persuade, but I am going to give you the two arguments in the form of a court proceeding. That's right, homosexuality is on trial today, and you, the one-man/woman jury, get to decide whether the act of homosexuality is innocent or guilty. Before we begin, it's important that you understand that it's the act of homosexuality, not the sexual identification, that's on trial. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that it's a sin to have a certain sexual preference. The argument at hand is whether or not homosexual sex specifically is a sin. Now, I understand this is a touchy subject, but it's important that you keep a neutral mind and try to stay objective. The prosecution will now open.
Thank you, Your Honor. In my view, this is an open and shut case. The Bible says here, 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 and here that homosexuality is a sin.
Objection! Your Honor, the two verses of Leviticus are clearly part of the old law that Jesus freed us from. And the latter two verses are talking about Sodom and Gomorrah. The things being condemned there are rape and inhospitality, not homosexuality.
Well, yes, while it can be interpreted that way, it's hard to argue against New Testament verses that are specifically meant to instruct Christian behavior, such as Romans 1, 26-27, 1 Corinthians 6, 9-10, and 1 Timothy 1, 9-10.
Again, I must object. At the time of writing the New Testament, neither the Greeks nor the Romans shared our modern ideas of homosexuality and heterosexuality. Instead, they viewed the two sides of the coin as dominant masculinity and submissive femininity. Men of Rome and Greece were free to perform homosexual intercourse without being seen as submissive so long as they took the dominant role. The submissive men were legally required to be a slave, prostitute, or entertainer. It is unlikely that Paul, who wrote all of the books that you just cited, was even aware of our modern dichotomy between homosexuality and heterosexuality, especially given that he was a Roman citizen who wrote all of these books in Greek. There isn't even a word in ancient Greek that directly translates to homosexual.
That's fair, but he was also a Jew, and his writing style seemed Yiddish in structure. I think it's fair to assume that, with a good bit of common sense and his Jewish background, Paul understood the difference between heterosexuality and homosexuality. As you said, ancient Greek doesn't have a word for homosexual. He probably used the words he used because they were the closest words he could find to get his point across. He was only writing in Greek so that he could reach the Gentile masses. Regardless, marriage is meant to be between a man and woman, as outlined in Genesis 2:24. Every time the Bible refers to a married couple, there is one man and one woman. Sex outside of marriage is adultery, and adultery is one of the most obviously outlawed sins in the entire Bible. Biblically, two people of the same gender can't become married, and anyone who isn't married can't have sex.
You're appealing to law for what is right. Jesus said that the two most important commandments are to love God and love others. And Paul said that all things are lawful, but not all are helpful. What harm does the love that another couple has for one another inflict upon you? The most loving thing to do, and thus the most Christian thing, is to love them as they are.
I agree, but it would be unloving to ignore their sin. Even if an argument can be made that is remotely possible that homosexuality isn't a sin, the goal of Christianity isn't to toe the line and to try to get by with as much as you can. We should serve God to the best of our ability, which means to stay as firmly within His commands as possible.
Well, maybe it seems unlikely to you that homosexuality is scripturally permitted, but that's not for you to decide. Each person is only meant to test their own actions, not compare their beliefs to those of other people. We have to let people decide for themselves. After all, the state of your soul is between you and God, not those around you.
Right you are. Jury of one. Have you decided? If not, I encourage you to check out these two videos, one for the prosecution and one for the defense. If you watch one, please, watch the other. Whatever you decide, remember, it's okay to have disagreement within the church. Just look at the differences between the early church's Jews and Gentiles. Still love and be kind to those who disagree with you. If you identify as homosexual and believe that acting on that is a sin, I encourage you to read Out of a Far Country by Christopher Yuan. Whether or not you feel that way, tune in next time to hear about the biblical way to cut sin out of your life. Thanks for watching. Do you have a Bible-related question you'd like answered? Well, leave a comment down below, and I'll see if I can't make a video about it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and to subscribe to BiblBabel for more content like it. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.